If you're watching this, it's because someone who loves you really wants you to ride. I'm here to address those concerns you may have about riding as someone who's been there. But before I get into that, the most important thing, if you choose not to ride, that needs to be respected. If you do choose to ride, do it for you, not for someone else. That's how you'll be motivated to learn to be as safe as possible. An unmotivated, fearful rider is better off just being supportive at the end of the ride. The first thing I want to address is you may be worried about how overwhelming and how much there is to learn. I didn't leave parking lots for months when I got my first bike. Your husband or boyfriend may want you to go on a ride with him now. You don't need to listen to him. Do what you're comfortable with. And sometimes your spouse may not be a very good teacher for you. They may just be way too excited and pushy. So sometimes just an outside course is best. But something I hear from a lot of instructors and coaches is that oftentimes women may overthink in class and have more anxiety than the guys, have more fear. But they say that because we're great listeners and we do our homework, that women are often the best in class. So trust yourself, trust your ability to learn and to improve, and just know that you're gonna get there. And you may become a better rider than the person that sent you this video. Maybe you're also thinking that you're just not the typical biker chick. How do you fit in? Maybe you're picturing a Harley rider in chaps and a lot of tattoos, and you feel like that's just not you. Well, motorcycling is kind of like high school. There are a ton of cliques within the rider community. And there's a lot more than just that stereotypical Harley girl. Actually, I'm not even sure I know that girl. I'd say the cute party girls ride sport bikes. And then there's the hipster girls that love organic food and they ride cafe racers. Then there's the tough girls that ride cruisers and big baggers. Then there's the supermoto and the stunting girls. They're their own class. Like the rest of us just bow down. Us dorky girls ride ADV bikes. Yes, I have a Harley too, but it's ugly, it's old, it's beat up. It does not fit in with the general look. Harley riders' bikes are just so beautiful and cool and aesthetic, and mine is not. So I don't know if I'd be accepted by the cool Harley crowd if it weren't for trauma bonding and training with motor officers, or maybe these videos. And there are also other options and easier bikes to handle. There are bikes with DCT, which is so you can get a bike with no clutch, and it's just automatic. So you got no clutch and no gears. You can get an electric bike, same thing, no clutch, no gears. Skip all that. A very real thing is you may be afraid. I'm not going to dance around the fact and say that motorcycles are not dangerous. You are 27 times more likely to get in a wreck on a bike than in a car. But that sensationalized headline can be misleading. There are a lot of patterns in those who wreck and those who don't. There's a lot that you can do to drastically reduce your chances of ever being in a wreck. So a majority of accidents occur at intersections, a vehicle turning left in front of a rider. Something to keep in mind to just be extra aware whenever you're there. 45% of fatal accidents, the rider had alcohol in their system. 31% were speeding. 9% didn't have a license. 37% would have survived if they had been wearing a helmet. Only 72 out of 100,000 bikes registered in the US experience a crash. So if you wear a helmet, don't drink and ride, don't speed, have a license, take additional courses, be extra alert at intersections, you've seriously improved your chances. I will address this because, yes, some of us ladies care about this, especially when we first start riding. Yes, you can look good in full gear. There is riding gear that is actually cute and flattering and still is abrasion resistant and has armor in all the right places. One of my favorite brands for safety but also looking really good is Pando Moto. Here's some of my Pando Moto gear. They've got really flattering pants and jeans, cute jackets, cute boots.
So these were the pants I was wearing when I went down. Here's where I got torn up, but I didn't have any road rash. And they have a lifetime warranty, so Pando Moto actually sent me another pair.
You can get 15% off using code DOODLE, linked in the description or the pinned comment. And as far as hair, your helmet hair, I use a high tail on the back of my helmet. These are what the clips look like, and you can just mount it on different helmets and tuck your hair under there. I've tried a whole bunch of things, from a bun and a braid tucked in my jacket, and even just tucking my hair in that in the high tail has been the most effective at keeping my hair from getting all knotted up. If you really care about your makeup and your earrings, I wear a full face helmet, and I usually just don't wear makeup just to keep it clean, but if I do wear makeup, using a balaclava, if it's cold, is one way that you can kind of preserve your makeup. Wearing a neck gaiter if it's a hotter day, that can be a way you keep your earrings in. But you don't want those earrings that have like a stick and something that you stick in the back, so because that's gonna stab you in the neck. You want one of like these earrings that just kind of like hook on themselves. If motorcycles just feel scary to you, think about if you've only ever ridden on the back. Because I rode on the back twice before I ever rode on my own, and I found it scary. I had no interest in riding after just riding as a passenger. It wasn't until I was riding 10 miles an hour at the MSF course that I had so much fun. And I wasn't at the MSF course because someone else was trying to get me. I just wanted to try it myself. I was newly single, wanting to try a whole bunch of cool things that summer. And riding is one of the few things that stuck, and it's taken over my life. But that solo course might not be what does it for you. Maria rode on the back of her husband's bike on their first date, and thanks to him, in a short time, she's become our trio's assistant mechanic on call. And his addiction to buying and selling different bikes has made her exposed to about as many different bikes as a journalist. Whitney used to be on anxiety pills, but she said that riding was so stimulating and brought her so much joy that she doesn't have to be on any of that medication anymore. She literally moved to a warmer state just so she could ride year round. Another thing you may be worried about is maybe judgment from others. In particular, I was worried about riding to work coming across as unprofessional. It was a very lady-dominated office setting, but I found that wasn't the case. A lot of people, even some of the girliest girls in my office, thought it was cool and wanted to talk about it and ask questions about it. So maybe you're worried that bikes are just too big, and if you drop it, you can't pick it up. Dropping is not that big of a deal. If you have drop protection on your bike, you can protect your bike. If you're wearing full gear and you drop your bike, you're usually going to be protected. I've never hurt myself from just a bike drop. And I couldn't pick up either of my bikes when I first got them. Sometimes it's just about technique, not just getting the right technique for your bike and your body, but also practicing it and refining it. And sometimes it is a matter of strength. I had been wanting to get stronger anyways for many years. I just never did because I really wasn't motivated to, until I got two bikes that I loved that I couldn't pick up. And now, lifting my Tiger on a couple set of tires is just part of my workout routine, and I can easily pick up my Triumph Tiger and my 900-pound Harley Electric Glide. And I have videos showing how to pick up both bikes like this. And if you have a sport bike, I would say check out my video picking up my Triumph Tiger because it also falls flat, and kind of the same techniques will apply there. But that one can be trickier, just so you know. As far as handling taller, heavier bikes in other ways, like just moving it in and out of parking spots, putting your feet down. I have a bunch of videos showing short rider tricks on both of these bikes. So tall and heavy and wide. If you want something more organized and my virtual feedback of what you're doing, I have an online course too, which I'll link to down below. And if you don't want that learning curve, you don't have to do it. There are tons of lower, lighter bikes you can get that are easy to handle without a learning curve. I also have a video on that, which I'll link to below. And listen, your guy who sent you this video may not like me saying this, but trikes are a lot of fun too. Your husband and boyfriend might want you on 2 wheels, but 3 wheels can be a good compromise. You'll be able to store a lot of stuff, so you'll soon become a preferred person on group rides just for that. So maybe you're afraid of going fast. Intersections, most common place for accidents, not the highways. So you're actually statistically safer going fast on a highway than going slow in town. Maybe you're afraid of being stranded for an issue with your bike or a medical issue. Well, you can get roadside assistance, and say if you're somewhere where there's no signal, you can get a satellite phone. So we don't ride because it's the safest or the cheapest activity. We ride because the feeling you get from it is incredible. It's like being a kid again, like you're riding bicycles with your friends or your neighborhood crush, your spouse. But remember to ride for you and not someone who sent this to you. Because riding is a big responsibility and that is not to be taken lightly. If you're still intimidated by bikes, then I hope this next video will inspire you. 2 petite women on the biggest bikes having a whole lot of fun.